I'm sure you've seen me in this dress before because I wear it a lot. I like it so much. It's ripped down here. I'm going to fix it now. And I love it so much, I'm going to clone it. It's really comfy, it's loose, it hasn't got any zippers or anything, it has a sleeve, it's midi, and it's ideal to run after the baby in the park. And I thought it was a good idea to have another one because it's really comfy. And I chose this navy blue fabric. It's a nice thin cotton, sort of patchwork, a poplin cotton, and I think it's going to turn out great. I don't have many blue stuff, that's why I chose this one, even though they had it in orange and green. They all looked really nice. And of course, because you don't have to dress to clone it, I'm going to use my block of measurements to show you how to do it. The dress is quite simple, it has a short sleeve, it has no shape, more or less at all, because you get your shape by tying it up. It has no zippers, it has a button, but that won't be a problem. And then from the hip down, it has 2 layers of material gathered to make the skirt. The thing is that you can't really see the seams because of the pattern, because it's really small. So let me show you 1 second. This way you can see better, because the pattern is so small that you can see the seams. So it has a first panel. I don't know why it has darts, because I don't think they're doing anything. The dress is already loose and you tie it up, so I can see the point of having darts. Then it has a panel that goes below your hip, quite loose, and then 2 other ones that make the skirt quite flowy. And if this is a whole panel, I don't know why this one isn't. It's part in the middle, I don't know. I can't tie that, of course, because the ties are inside. Well, outside, but now inside. I bought it in Primark on offer almost 2 years ago, when after giving birth I didn't know what to wear. It's not very flat, it is flattering because it has the material is pattern, it has a floral pattern. But if it were plain, I don't think it would be good, because all your stomach area is exposed. Nothing wrong about that, but at that time I didn't like that because my stomach was a bit wobbly. And of course you can alter the pattern and transform it and make it your own way. You can make different sleeve, or you can make it not as low on your hip. So, let's get to it. Firstly, we're going to cut our body's front, back and ties. The back needs to be cut by half to create the head opening. And after hemming the ties, we're going to place them in between the front and back bodies to sew it all together. The hip area is created by 2 trapeze sewn together and then sewn to the bodies. And the rest of the skirt are just rectangles of material gathered together to create a cascade with volume. Once we cut our sleeves, we need to sew them together and then gather the top so we can sew them to the dress and hem it all. And if you don't have one of these block of measurements, I really recommend you do one. It's not a waste of time, and you will need your measurements from shoulder to shoulder, from shoulder to the highest point of your chest, so then you can place the chest contour properly, and then your waist contour. I didn't add any darts, so it comes down diagonally, and I'm going to use this one even though I have another one, because I think this thread doesn't need any darts at all. It's going tied up, so it'll be fine. When I make a dress, I always start from top to bottom. I don't know why, I think it doesn't really matter. And for this one, I'm going to do the same. So I'm going to cut the top bit, and I'm going to divide the video by blocks. First block, the top, the chest area. And it's going to turn out as a sleeveless dress. Then it's hem. The neckline you can do as you wish. You can do more of a neckline, you can even add a collar if you like, it doesn't really matter. And it comes not to the waist, but up for at least 4 fingers. And then the back has to be cut in two because it has this opening so you can manage to take it on and off. And then it has a little bit of a strip of material where the button goes. And then this top is where the ties are going to be sewn on the side. So we have to get those ready as well. And they measure 70 centimeters each. I think 2 meters of material was quite a lot because I'm seeing loads of fabric here. Anyways, I'll tell you later. So I have my first piece of material, the front, cut, and then to cut the back and allow the middle seam to have room and to be able to sew it together properly, I'm going to just use it as a pattern but cut a bit more on the sides, so then I can cut in the middle and have enough margin. And I placed my pattern on the wrong side because I couldn't see with all the little pattern and florals going on. I have all the pieces cut for the first block, and I was thinking that because the inside is white, so the inside first in white and then the hem in blue. But then I thought that because I have to do the ties first and they have to go in blue, and then after I sew the two back bits together, I have to hem the rest. I'm going to do it all in blue. I'm really happy about the back seam, and I decided, I didn't think about that before, but I have the overlock foot and it's really nice. I love the seam you get, all the stitches, really nice and neat. And I did that because this is going to suffer a lot, that way it's much more protected. And now I have all the front and back pinned with the ties in between on the right side, and you can see them on the wrong side a little. So I'm going to sew the sides and shoulders together. I'll be with you in a minute. So I have the first fit done, and even though it looks a bit weird, you can try it on to see how you're going, and it looks, I can fit it in easily. It's the panel that has the most seams and things to do, little details like putting the strips in and the bit in the back for the bottom. But I'm quite pleased with it, especially with all the seams I did, and now with the next vlog of the video, which is the skirt. For me, the skirt comes from this point on the waist down. And the next panel has this weird shape because the top bit has to be the same measurement as the one we have just done, the waist one, and then the bottom is your hip area plus 20 centimeters at least. It depends on how flowy you want it. And the length of it is going to be the one from the one you've already cut, the point on your waist, to your hip area. This is going to be quite easy to sew because it's just right sides together. I'm going to sew the sides and then insert it in the other one so we can put it together. And even though we have this length, we have to make sure that the sides aren't longer because of the shape. So make a little curve, measure the centimeters you need and make sure you don't have more. That's looking good. Doesn't look like much when you try it on, but it's okay. It's doing okay. So now with the gather panels. And for that, we're not going to use trapeze, but rectangles. And each rectangle has to be gathered, the top has to be gathered, so it has the measurement of the previous one, of the one on top. So it's not difficult, it's just a bit of work. And mine measure, we have the 120 at the hip area, and then the next one is 160, and the bottom one 230. So we have to cut the big measurements so we can reduce them to the gather bit. And they measure 25 centimeters tall, but this again depends on your taste. Instead of 2 panels, you can cut 3 with, instead of 25 centimeters, 15, or even I've seen ones with a big panel. So it could be a nice big panel with the 230 centimeters of width, gather up to the 120. That would look really nice. I'll make another one with that. We're doing okay. And I don't know if this happens to you, but lately in the last few projects, when I tried on through the process, like I tried on the first bit I sewed and then the second bit, it doesn't look right. Like, I know what I'm doing, I know if I'm doing it right, I know I'm doing the steps okay and I'm following the steps, but when I try it on, I think it's rubbish, I think it doesn't fit properly, it doesn't look right, and I have such an argument with myself. So I don't know if this happens to you, that until you have the whole thing almost finished, that you can't see it. Let me know down in the comments if I'm not the only one, please. And now with the last part, which is the sleeve. If you don't have a sleeve block, you can always use one you have from a t-shirt you like. You can trace around it, or even you can manage if you trace it from the sleeve, the hole. To gather the top of the sleeve, you just need to pull from one of the threads when sewing, and at this point you can also try it on. So what I do to sew the sleeves, well, lots of people do, is to put my garment inside out, and then the sleeve I'll put right sides out in the garment. So that way they are already facing right sides together and I can pin, no problem. And what I do is that I pin the seam, centered my seam, and that way there's no possible mistake. And pin it. And now once the sleeves are attached, we can decide where or how long we want them. So I've done that, so now I'm going to cut it and hem the whole thing. Hem the neckline, the sleeves and the skirt. While the dress is finished, it's all being hemmed, and I also did the fake overlock thing, foot, with so many threads. So it doesn't fray and it lasts for a long time. And now what's left is to add the button. And for the bottom, Marie Antoinette has here like a little strip of material that's been folded and sewn. So I just did that with one of the little pieces remaining. I just folded a few times so I got it the thinnest as possible. And now this is what I'm going to attach here at the back.
But previously we have to choose the button so it goes in.
So this is the result. It's a nice simple dress, and I think it's ideal for beginners because it hasn't got any zippers or buttonholes or things that scare you a lot. Maybe the most complicated thing is the top bit because you have to measure yourself, but you can even do it from a t-shirt that is a bit loose, or you can add more margin. And of course you can change the pattern. It's a really easy pattern to make, and you can add more ruffles, you can change the sleeves, you can change the neckline, add a collar, things like that. It will be amazing anyways. And I think it's an ideal dress for almost any season because you can add a cardigan or tights and wear it in autumn as well. I'm quite pleased with it because I wear this one an awful lot and I wanted another one because it's ever so comfortable. I had half a meter of material left, so I think 1.5 meters for a size 40 or 38 will be okay. So let me know down in the comments what you thought, what are your ideas, and if you're planning to do one. And don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss anything next week, it's free. Bye!